Gwen Ellis, CrossFit Magnolia, Coach Development Lesson number 5. So today we're working on some scaling options. I'm doing workout number 1, 5 rounds per time of 100 double unders and 10 bar muscle ups. These are pretty complex movements, and this was actually quite tough for me to do this one. But I'm assuming to get this stimulus, we are going somewhere from a minute to a minute and 45 on the double unders. Obviously, if we're really good at them, we'll be closer to that minute mark. If not so much, then about a minute, 30, minute 45. And about same time frame for our bar muscle ups. If we're pretty good at those, maybe a minute, maybe just under. And if we're taking breaks, then maybe we'll be closer to that 130, 145. So I'm going to kind of average that out and say each movement is going to take us about a minute and 30 seconds. So 3 minutes per round, which should put us right there in the middle of that time frame we've got of 12 to 17 minutes, which would put us right at that 15-minute mark. So for our double unders, again, these are a pretty complex movement. For the beginner, I'm going to do singles, right? If they're pretty deconditioned, I'm going to say do half that number. Or if they really don't have that motion with their arms, then we're going to do some line hops, but preferably learning that motion with their arms. Intermediate, if I'm going to say we're going to do attempts, 1 minute worth of attempts. I'm a true believer that you're not going to get it if you don't do it. So if they're pretty good with the single unders, then that's where we're going. And you know what? They might surprise themselves. I have had that experience, just doing it over and over and over again in the middle of a WOD, and what do you know? I did it. For my injured person, I'm going to say that they are not doing any sort of jumping motion. So to get that cardio stimulus that the double unders are going to provide, I'm going to pop them on a bike. And if I know their fitness level, I'm probably going to give them calories to hit. And if I'm not so familiar with what their output might be, then I'll probably just give them a time frame. And again, that would probably be about that 1 minute mark. For my bar muscle up, this is a really complex movement. So I've got 3 different movements for the one scale for a beginner. So we're going to start with 5 kips, really focusing on shoulders, initiating that movement. 5 ring rows, really focusing on that nice tight body and keeping tension in it and doing it properly. And then 5 dips. That's important for the lockout at the top, right? So 15 reps here. I'm guessing that's going to take us about the same amount of time as 10 bar muscle ups. For our intermediate, I'm going to have them do their hardest scale. Depending on how good they are at that, I might even add a dip on top of that if it's taken them, 20 seconds to hit that 10 at their hardest scale. I might get them to do dips again because, again, that's going to be beneficial for lockout at the top of that bar muscle up. And for the injured person, I'm going to assume that they cannot go in that overhead position at all or hang. So I'm going to get them to do 10 banded hip extensions. So that's going to be coming from behind them, and they're going to be popping those hips, very, very explosive. That's important for our bar muscle up, right? And then also 10 box dips. So that one might seem a little bit different for them, but still trying to give them some of the same movements that a bar muscle up might give them. Thanks.